These are, well, we won't go there. Okay. Now look at this. The hills melted like wax at the presence of the Lord. Melt. Have you seen a hill? I was privileged. I've shared this one time, but when I was in the Bel Air fire in California, that was a terrifying thing when I was a kid.
Was that a wildfire?
It was a fire that burned up that started in the canyon in Mulholland Drive, and
so it was a wildfire.
it was horrific. It was one of the well-known historical,
Wow.
Bel Air fire. And I had been coming back from living in Washington D.C. with my mom, and I think I was in the 5th grade, the 4th or the 5th grade when that took place. And we were staying there in California in Brentwood. We had just bought our house in Brentwood. And we were staying at the Bel Air Sands Hotel because our house was still in escrow for 3 more weeks.
Yeah.
And the fire broke out.
So you were in the hotel.
I was in the hotel where also it caught fire and evacuation and everything around me, and it was terrifying.
Talk about bad times.
It was terrifying, yeah. And and I remember, looking that evening, and the dining room was opened up to everybody, and the fire. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, the whole place became the entire evacuation center before it started. So the whole thing got on fire. And they were going to evacuate us over to the freeway to the other side because the wind shifted and nobody knew what to do, and everybody was panicking and screaming. It was like the Titanic, but
yeah,
in fire.
running for your life.
That's exactly what it was. But before it happened, I was sitting on the dining room and the table trying to eat dinner, terrified, because all you saw around me, the hills, it was just covered with flames.
Oh my God!
I was watching people's houses that I knew burning down before my eyes.
Oh my God.
It was unbelievable. I saw walls and sheets of fire, and then the Santa Ana winds, revved up and created even more. And they had never had such a catastrophe as the Bel Air fire.
Yeah. Well, the winds is what keeps it going.
It was acres and acres and acres and acres of flames. It was terrifying. But the hills melted like wax. I saw entire hills get burned up in seconds. And I was like, and I didn't know Jesus at that time, so I was really freaking out.
Yeah.
As a kid, my goodness, it was terrible.
So that was one of the worst fires up until that time?
Yeah, it was horrific, absolutely horrific. And then the house that we had bought, the roof burned. And some of the houses, the fire jumped and then went down on the street there in Brentwood and started to come down and burn. And it was incredible when you've been in those kind of things, You've been in fires and you've been in earthquakes. I've been in fires and earthquakes.